Welcome to a little session organized by DPSI on well-being because well-being matters. It's not the load that breaks you down, it's the way you carry it. Lou Holtz. As we all know, these are unprecedented times, and the environment we are living in is very fragile. We seem to be losing control, which could be affecting our work performance or the academic performance of our children. The minimum or no physical activity or the lack of social interaction, which were our main emotional support, have reduced. The increased screen time, with all its gory stories, the loss of loved ones, are all contributing to our emotional meltdown. To add to this, there is the uncertainty, both in terms of health and financial conditions. Naturally, the challenges seem overwhelming. And while none of these are within our control, our responses to these are going to help us tide over and win the battle. Keeping this in mind, instead of focusing on our problems and challenges, let's focus on some solutions. First and foremost, let's look at the things we can do to help ourselves because we can help others only when we are mentally and emotionally strong. A few tips that could go a long way to deal with the pandemic, the fatigue, and the monotonous lifestyle could be positive self talk and affirmations because our thoughts will reflect on our behavior and attitude, creating a ripple effect and helping us calm down. It is a fact that we have a lot to be grateful for. Acknowledging this and expressing our gratitude is a significant step towards self care. It is absolutely normal for all of us to have mixed feelings, the highs and the lows, and communicating these would help in unburdening ourselves and relieving the stress. Not only this, communication also helps in looking at a situation through a different lens. Constant worry about the future is not going to help us in any way. Let's live in the present. Have faith in ourselves. We can cross the bridge when we come to it. Whether we like it or not, the word exam creates anxiety among students. High expectations, lack of sufficient time, or feeling of unpreparedness are common stresses. As a parent, we can play a vital role in calming them down. A few tips for effective exam preparations could be encourage them to refer and practice past exam papers. Help them make notes, collect ideas, summarize thoughts. Use bright colors like red to remember important keywords. Ask them to take regular breaks, maybe 3 to 5 minutes. Stay hydrated. Help them to break a big task into smaller parts and work on them one at a time. It feels less overwhelming. Encourage them to summarize what they have studied or practice oral presentation, which could help them recap and consolidate their learning. We do understand that children are also going through an emotional turmoil, which could be affecting their attitude and their academics. You may notice that there may be lack of communication, defiance, lack of regulation in screen time, all affecting your relationship with the child. Impulsive reaction will not help at this time. It is extremely important to communicate in a non interrogative manner and a non judgmental manner. Your unconditional approach will encourage them to be more receptive and help them to calm down. Keeping rational expectations is the need of the hour. Try to be an active listener and watch out for non-verbal cues. A compassionate approach will provide more constructive resolution to irresponsible behaviors. It would be very helpful if you could prompt them to understand and acknowledge their feelings because this would empower them to find solutions to their problems. This pandemic has brought a lot of pain, suffering, and grief in our lives in different ways and forms. something many of us have never experienced to this intensity, and coping with it has been a real challenge. Denial, anger, and depression are some of the emotions associated with it. Although the grieving process is unique to every person, it is important to acknowledge and support each other in order to be able to deal with it. Some of the things we can do are express our feelings or seek out support from our significant others. Self care practices will definitely be beneficial to tide over our emotions. It is, however, important to recognize the difference between grief and depression. While grief can be dealt with, depression may require professional help. Besides the emotional support, there are some specific therapeutic methods which can significantly benefit us, such as the 60 seconds mindfulness activity available on mindfulnessexercises.com or the progressive muscle relaxation technique available on healthline.com, the gratitude exercise available on kidshealth.org, and other family time activities like cleaning or cooking together with music, dancing, etc. However, there are certain behaviors and changes in attitude that might need attention, such as frequent anger and frustration in behavior, constant fear and helplessness, confusion and forgetfulness reflected in performing tasks, self doubt, negative self talk observed in conversations, loss of appetite, lack or no self motivation to start studying, disruptive sleep, etc. If these signs persist in spite of parents' intervention, it is recommended to seek help from the school for correct guidance and support. Should you feel the need for any intervention or guidance from the school, kindly fill in the form that has been emailed by the school to you all so that the counselors would be able to connect with you and extend their support. We hope you had some important takeaway from the presentation shared with you today. Hopefully, this will help to smoothen the journey for you and your child. Thank you.